Good morning and welcome everyone to today's technical webinar on rumen efficiency and heat stress management. My name is Richard Nora. I'll be your host for this session, which brings together a distinguished panel of speakers and highly professional audience spanning over 20 countries. We're truly pleased to see so many veterinarians, nutritionists, farm advisors, and industry specialists joining us today. This confirms just how critical rumen performance and heat stress control have become in the context of animal production in hot climates. So today's session is structured into three main parts, introduced by an opening presentation to set the stage. So the agenda for today, for this session, is the following. Introduction and contextual overview. It will be presented by Nassira Durand of CCPA. Part 1, rumen and feed efficiency, to be presented by Romain Lavessière. Part 2, heat stress management, to be presented by Jean Pascar. And the last session, part 3, would be about field expertise and practical observations that will be delivered by Nikita Kulikov. Before we begin, allow me to briefly present who we are and who we're collaborating with today. So a brief note about us, Medlin. So we are the organizer of today's event. We are a UAE-based distributor. We're focused on science-driven veterinary and nutritional solutions. We have spent over 25 years building a robust regional presence across 6 markets in the Gulf region. We represent 16 international partners across 7 product lines, including more than 83 products tailored to livestock, poultry, and equine sectors. Our strength lies in our ability to bridge global innovation with local needs. We work on solutions rather than products. So as this map shows you, we work with partners from Argentina, from Spain, France, Romania, and some other countries as well. Our focus is to bring solutions to specific fields in the industry like nutritional efficiency, heat stress management, which are topics that we are going to discuss today. Also gut health and immunity, growth performance, and disinfection, biosecurity. We work on all those fields, and we have built a lot of experience in each one of them. So basically, we're not manufacturers, we are connectors, we are solution providers, and our role is to make science actionable in the field, to bring to you solutions from our different suppliers. Now, a few words about our core scientific partner for today, the CCPA Group. CCPA is a France-based leader in animal nutrition and research with a global footprint that includes 7 international subsidiaries, over 40,000 tons of production capacity, and a dedicated R&D team of 65 scientists. In recent years, they invested close to 6 million euros in research and innovation, generating more than 80 scientific publications and reinforcing their position as a trusted technical partner for nutrition and farm specialties worldwide. Their expertise spans feed solutions, functional ingredients, and farm specialties. Here on the screen, you can see some of those figures. So what sets CCPA apart is this blend of lab knowledge that they have and the on-farm experience, which you will see throughout today's presentation. So this is the context of the people behind today's event. Let's begin. So I'm pleased to introduce our first speaker, Nassira Durand. She's CCPA's export manager in charge of the Middle East and North Africa. And she will deliver the introductory presentation. Nassira, à toi.
Many thanks, Richard, for your introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Nassira Durand, the Middle East area export manager at CCPA. And I've spent over 8 years working in developing international market in the field of animal nutrition, including for Middle East. I had the chance to be frequently on the ground in the Middle East, meeting farmers, vets, and nutritionists. Even if each country in the Middle East has its own specificity, one issue keeps coming everywhere in the Middle East is heat stress and how it's affecting animal performance. So let's start there. Next slide, please. Next slide, Richard, please. Heat stress, so it's not a new topic in the Middle East, actually. But what's really changed, heat waves are more and more longer. Nights are not cooling down like before. Farmers also are facing tire margins, and there is a more focus on sustainability and animal welfare. So farmers have to keep animal productive despite the difficult climate conditions. Next slide, please. Next slide, Richard, please.
Start moving.
So, yeah, let's look at the climate in the Middle East area temperatures. So often go above 35 Celsius and sometimes hitting 50 Celsius with high humidity. So the problem is not just the heat spikes, it's how long and how often animals are exposed. The peak of temperature matter, but not only. We need to pay attention also to the temperature humidity index, which in the Middle East usually stays above the critical 72 for more than 100 days a year sometimes. So even at night. This means animals face chronic stress, leading to less feed intake, lower milk, weaker immunity, and fertility problems. Next slide. What you are seeing here is the average surface air temperature trend in the UAE from 1951 to 2023. So we have more than 2.78 Celsius increase over the last 70 years, with an acceleration starting in the 90s. So this is really challenging, especially for high-producing dairy cows and fast-growing animals. Next. What does heat stress do to cows? So we can see here their heart rate and energy needs jump by up to 30% just to keep cool. They eat less than 20 to 30% of feed. The milk production as well can drop by up to 30%. Fertility also suffers with conception rates falling from 20 to 40%. If you capture only the GCC countries, heat stress costs hundreds of $millions every year. Next slide. Now, while heat stress is visible, there is another hidden problem, which is silent, but we need to talk about. It's Rumen efficiency. So, which quietly hurt performance all the time. Different issues here. We have 5 to 15% of nutrients which are not absorbed. The second risk is the risk of acidosis, especially with high concentrate and low fiber diets, which are common in the intensive systems in the Middle East area. Methane emissions as well waste from 2 to 12% of the coast energy. So what does this mean economically speaking? This means milk losses can reach $50 per cow per day, higher feed costs by $50 to $100 per cow per day per year, and more, of course, vet bills due to digestive issues. So, in short, what the Rumen is not optimized, the whole systems pays for it. Next slide. Thank you. So when we convert rumen inefficiency into numbers, here we have a sample case. So a cow eats eating about 22 kilogram of dry matter per day, and with feed costing around $0.50 per kilogram. That's $11 per cow per day. Now imagine just a 2% inefficiency in feed utilization. That's barely $0.01 per cost per kilogram lost. So if we scale it to 100 cost, it's $22 lost per day. For 100 cost, that means $616 monthly and over $6,600 wasted in a 10-month lactation. Next slide, thank you. Now, what if we improve efficiency? If a herd produced the same milk but improves feed efficiency from 1.3 to 1.5, feeding costs can drop from $12.31 to $10.67 per cow daily. So if we scale it on for 100 cows, that's $164 saved every day, nearly $5,000 a month, and almost $15,000 over 10 months without changing milk output. So what we can say here that efficiency really pays. Just to conclude, I would like to say that improving feed efficiency is not just a technical fix, it's a smart financial move at CCPA. And this is how we developed Turboviv, our targeted feed solution designed to help farmers and feed mills to capture these gains. So now I will hand over to our colleague Romain, which is our ruminant specialist, to talk about Turboviv. Thank you for your attention. Romain, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Romain Lavessière. I'm a dairy nutritionist in CCPA for 5 years now. And I was before independent nutritionist in a French cooperative. So I will talk about rumen efficiency mainly. So if we just to introduce the main problem, we know that dairy cows are facing a lot of issues, mainly just after calving. If we just want to keep only 5 of them, first one will be, of course, negative energy balance. So just after calving, energy needs of the cow will rise very quickly. They can be multiplied by 3 or 4 in few days. First impact will be very well known metabolic disease like ketosis. But at the end, if negative energy balance will stay for a long time, if we have on top some inflammation issues, you can have a lot of different disease. It could be metabolic, acidosis, hypocalcemia, and also some infection disease. We can have metritis, mastitis, and at the end, impaired fertility. Second problematic will be how to supply good amount of mineral. When I speak about mineral, it's the main mineral, it's trace element, it's vitamin. Needs will depend a lot on biological status and milk production. So it will be very difficult to be sure to have the good supplementation of mineral. If not, we will have very, very soon some immunity issues and production might matter also. Third problematic will be about the rumen. The diet will change a lot from close-up to high production. You have only few weeks, few days sometime. The diet will change a lot. You will have a decrease in fiber, increase of concentration, and you can have a huge lack of efficiency. You can have acidosis, and at the end, you will have a lot of issues, metabolic issues, liver problem also. And sometimes first symptom you can see is a big lameness problem. Fourth problematic will be protein efficiency. To produce more milk, we will have to increase the amount of total protein intake by the cow. By increasing this amount, we will face a big problem, which is efficiency of protein. We cannot increase too much protein. If we do that, we will have a huge loss, mainly from ammonia, and the diet will be very, very costly. So we'll have to deal this issue very soon in the lactation. The last problematic, and it's kind of a summary of the fourth other one, it's a global decrease of digestive efficiency. If the cow is not able anymore to digest, to valorize all the nutrients, we will have a huge lack of efficiency of the diet, and at the end, for the farmer, a huge decrease of profitability. So if I focus only about protein for a start, we know that a huge part of the protein the cow will eat will not be digested properly. Around 30% will be used to produce protein in milk, but besides that, 1/3 will be lost in the urine, mainly because of nitrogen emission and excretion through ammonia and urea. 27% will be lost in the feces. I mean, one part will be undigestible protein, and another part will be elimination of protein. But we know protein is a very important nutrient to produce milk. Something very interesting with protein needs, it's are kind of linear. The more the cow needs to produce milk, the more metabolizable protein we will need. And it's what I show you in the orange part of the graph. So protein are coming from two parts. First one will be from the rumen. It's a microbial protein. We know that roughly a rumen can provide maintenance needs plus 13 to 15 kg of milk of metabolizable protein. If you want to produce more than 15 kg of milk, we need metabolizable protein from the intestine. So the more the cow is producing milk, more you will have to supply intestinal protein. For example, if we look at a diet of 45, 50 kilograms of milk, we need close to 3 kg of metabolizable protein, and 60% will be brought by the intestine. So it's very, very important to work on the digestibility of protein and the supplementation of bypass protein if you want to produce a lot of milk. So to face all this challenge, CCPA developed a product, name is Turboviv. So this product has complementary effect. So first one, we will work on the salivary secretion. With a blend of spices, we will increase quantity of saliva, and we will also increase the buffer capacity of this saliva. Second action, we have enzymatic stimulant, and we will work on the global secretion of mainly pancreatic enzymes. So we will improve digestibility in the intestine. Third action, we will protect protein in the rumen. So to create bypass protein, we have a specific blend of tannins and trace minerals, and we will protect directly the protein in the rumen. The fourth action is made by essential oils. These essential oils, we selected some specific sources of essential oils, and they will act on global microbial flora in the rumen. And the target is to increase volatile fatty acid production and also increase microbial protein production as well. If I focus now only on the rumen, what we can see, I told you we will increase RUP, so bypass protein, and we will decrease little bit degradable protein. This is the first step. If we do that, we know that we will decrease loss of protein by production of ammonia. It's what you can see on the bottom right of the rumen. At the same time, essential oils will work on the bacteria in the rumen. essential oils of Turboviv, they will act a little bit as a booster of fermentation in the rumen. So we will increase the number of bacteria. So at the end, we will increase microbial protein production. So more bacteria, more microbial protein production. And also we will increase cellulose digestibility. If we have more digestibility of cellulose, at the end, we will produce more fatty acid, so more energy coming from the rumen. The result of that will be a decrease of methane emission. So we will have more carbohydrate, more carbon atom available to produce energy. So if I start by the protection of protein, the specific mix of tannins and the trace element, they will have a direct protection on the protein. So in the rumen, it will create a kind of matrix, and they will protect protein to be attacked from protozoa and from bacteria. This protection, it's mainly due to a hydrogen bond. That means tiny bond. These hydrogen bonds are very sensitive to pH. So when the matrix will go through the abomasum, the decrease of pH will release the protein, and the protein will be able to be digested. The very important fact is this kind of protection never change the structural structure of the protein. So protein will stay the same. So global intestine digestibility of the protein will remain the same. So we will never decrease intestinal digestibility of the protected protein. With this system, we are able to protect protein and peptide. We will not protect amino acid or ammonia. We only protect a true protein. Second action, I told to you we have a mix of essential oils. I will focus on that just later. When we work on the, we did a long-term trials with a French institute, name is INRA, and we work on the effect of different essential oils and also different blend of essential oils. The essential oils we selected for Turboviv, they will have an effect on protozoa in the rumen. And what you can see on this graph on the red and green curve, when we increase the dosage of these essential oils, we will modulate and reduce the quantity of protozoa in the rumen. And we know that protozoa, they are destroying little bit protein in the rumen. So when we decrease number of protozoa, we will also decrease emission of ammonia. So if we focus on the left part of this presentation, we measure the effect of ammonia emission of Turboviv essential oils. As we can see, we decrease by 36% the ammonia emission. This is trials made in artificial rumen. So it's not in vivo, it's artificial rumen. If we focus on vivoactive tannins, we also decrease the emission of ammonia by 12%. That means we are really protecting protein. Now the difference is regarding, for example, isoacids. Isoacids are very interesting because they are a marker of proteolysis in the rumen and mainly proteolysis from protozoa. The essential oils will decrease the production of isoacid between 20 to 27%. While tannins, they have no significant effect on this isoacid production. So I mean, essential oils will decrease protein degradation mainly by decreasing effect of protozoa. And at the same time, tannins will have a direct protection and reduce ammonia production by directly protecting protein. Now, we know both of them are working in a different way, and we study how to combine essential oils and tannins and which dosage we have to use. So it's what I show you on the right part. We created a lot of quadratic models to estimate the best proportion of tannins and essential oils, and we obtain this kind of graph, and we are able to know the exact amount of essential oils and the exact amount of tannins we have to use if we want to protect protein with a better efficiency. So now, if we still link to all this trial, we can see all the effect of this mix of tannins and essential oils. So if we focus only on the rumen, I told you on the bottom left, the more you put tannins, more you decrease ammonia emission. It's what the red curve showed to you. It's very interesting to use tannins because there is a linear effect. You put more tannins, you protect more protein, and you create more bypass protein. Just a little bit on the right, you have effect on rumen protozoa. Essential oils, they are not antibiotics. So we just modulate the population of protozoa. And the main interest is to avoid a huge increase of protozoa population just after feeding. So we will keep a low quantity of protozoa in the rumen. If we look on the rumen production, we measure the microbial protein flow. And in this trial, we increased by more than 200% the microbial protein flow. So more microbial protein coming from the rumen. If we measure the total amount of volatile fatty acid produced, I told you the action is like a booster of fermentation. So we have a global increase of total volatile fatty acid. If we focus on each volatile fatty acid, the highest increase is coming from acetic acid, which makes sense because acetic acid are coming from fiber, and I told you we will increase fiber digestibility. But we also increase little bit propionic acid. Then about methane, we reduced by 6% the emission of methane. It wasn't the first goal of the product. First goal of the product is not to reduce methane. But for us, it's very interesting because if we reduce methane, we save carbohydrates to produce volatile fatty acid. So at the end, we really increase efficiency, feed efficiency in the rumen. Now on the right part, intestinal action. First one, we measure the quantity of enzymes. So on the first graph, we can see higher production of lipase. So more than 100% more lipase in the intestine. And underneath, we have the effect of the quantity, of trypsin and chymotrypsin. It's enzymes used to digest protein in the intestine. And same result, we increase the quantity of trypsin and chymotrypsin. One last effect, it's not shown in this slide. We create more intestinal protein, and we know that intestinal protein is very important also to buffer the pH of the intestine. So when we have more intestinal protein, pH will be higher in the intestine, and some enzyme, for example, amylase, are very sensitive to pH. And when you increase pH, you also increase efficiency of amylase. So Turboviv will help you to have a higher digestibility of intestinal starch. So it's very important in dry diets with a huge amount of corn grain, for example. Now regarding the trials. So I will not focus on all the trials in details. Just to tell you, we did many trials in many different conditions with different diets. Dry diets with hay, alfalfa hay, some classical, I will say, diet with corn silage, grass silage. And we also did a lot of trials in different level of milk production, from 20 to more than 40 kilograms of milk. And the very interesting thing is for all the system we did trials, it's working. And the results is always between 4 to 10% of milk increase in these trials. If I focus just a little bit on the last one, we finished a trial in the French University in Paris, AgroParisTech. We finished just beginning of this year. The protocol was very simple. We just had Turboviv to the normal dosage, 25 grams per cow per day, in the trial group. And we measure what are the results regarding milk production and also milk quality. In this trial, we noticed 2 kilograms milk more in the trial group, so with Turboviv. And at the same time, we have no decrease in milk quality. So that means we also increase total solid of milk. And this is a proof of increasing efficiency. It's not only producing milk, we are not diluting milk, we are increasing efficiency. If we now study the economical interest of using Turboviv, in that trial, with 2 kilograms more milk, with a price of milk a little bit under $0.5 per liter. With if we scale it in a 100 cow herd, the increase of margin over feed cost is close to $2,000 per month. So it's a huge effect on margin over feed cost, and this is the main target, of course, of our product. Now we have different way to use that. With all the trial we did with university and research center, we were able to give some matrix values to Turboviv. That means we put some values of metabolizable protein and some values of net energy. With these values, we can put on a software and recalculate, reoptimize the diet in the farm and reduce, for example, the amount of protein. In that example, we reduce the amount of soybean meal by 0.4 kilograms per day, and we save $0.19 per day per cow. So with this optimization, reduce total protein, keep the same level of milk, keep the same quality of milk, and save some money. So of course, we increase margin over feed cost. Second example, we can do the same in a feed mill. So exactly the same process. We keep the matrix, and we want to produce same concentrate with the same metabolizable protein level, same net energy level. And in the optimization on of the concentrate, we can modify the composition. For example, reduce sources of very slow protein, like soybean meal, also like gluten 60, for example. And we will reduce the total amount of crude protein for the same amount of metabolizable protein and net energy. In this example, it was a concentrate with a level of crude protein of 32. We decrease 2 points of crude protein, and we save more than 26 euro per ton. So if we summarize the benefit for feed compounder, we will use that to optimize the formulation, reducing the cost of the raw material in the formula. So after it's up to you, you can have higher margin at the end. You can have more competitive prices. This depends on your commercial strategy. In the other part, for ruminant farms, when you will use Turboviv, first result will be to have a better efficiency on your diet, a better safety on the diet, higher fiber digestibility, and at the end, exactly same result. You will save money or produce more milk. Result will be higher margin over feed cost. So we will product is interesting at the same time for feed compounder and also directly to dairy farmers. If I'll summarize the global profitability of the product, we will reduce feed cost and increase feed efficiency at the same time. So this is the main target of the product. So depending on your feed strategy, you know that you will improve the efficiency, you will improve the fiber digestibility, and at the end, the goal is the same, increase margin over feed cost in your farm. So now I will let my colleague Jean-Pascal speak about heat stress management in dairy farms.
Okay, thank you, Romain. So good morning, everybody. Thanks to Medlin to invite me. And so I'm Jean-Pascal, I'm product manager for ruminant at CCPA Group. And now I'm going to speak to explain you the second topic of the webinar, heat stress management. Next. Next slide, please. Yes. So first, it's important to know what we are talking about. First, to illustrate this, this is a comparison with Finnish sauna versus Turkish hammam. What is the hotter? Of course, the hotter is the sauna. But if we look to it's stress and what is the feeling for the body, we have to use an index with a combination with temperature and humidity. And when we use this index, THI, in fact, we find that it's exactly the same, 126 for sonar and 122 for Raman. So it means that the sensation of heat stress is similar with these two different ways. So keep in mind that you have to use a combination of temperature and humidity. And you can have an illustration with this graphic. So you have at the bottom relative humidity and vertically the temperature. And you see if you start to bottom left to upper right corner, that you increase, you are coming from the green, which is a comfort area, to when you are above 98, you can have high risk, even death of the animal. And on the right side, you have different issue of heat stress. First, with a mild stress, cow look for shade, start to increase the breath rate. And after, if the heat stress increase, you can have decrease of feed intake, the cow keep standing, and of course decrease of intake and risk of deaths in extreme case. If we look at your area, in the Gulf area, relative humidity is around 45%, and you have usually temperature above 30 degrees Celsius. So if you look at this graphic, you are in the severe stress zone. So, but you know this, so it's very important in your area to try to mitigate the consequence of heat stress. Hopefully, there is a third way we will look this after to help to decrease the consequence of THI, which is the air renewal, which help cooling the body. So now, if we look to the consequence of the animals, so we look first on the left side of the slide. So as the THI increase, the body temperature of the cow increase. To try to eliminate the body temperature, the blood is coming to the skin to help to increase the exchange with body to external temperature. But if the blood is coming under the skin, it means that there is less blood to the gut and to the reproductive organ. So this can have consequences on feed efficiency and reproduction. Also, to try to help to cool this body, there is the respiratory rate increase, and this is a real good indicator if the animal are stressed or not. So when they go above 75 cycles of respiratory rate per minute, you enter in an area of heat stress. But you can go above 100. And with increase of respiratory rate, you have also elimination of bicarbonate ion. So there is bicarbonate losses. Other kind of losses is sodium, potassium, so electrolyte, due to the sweating. There is a decrease in saliva secretion. So also, I told you that there is a decrease of bicarbonate. And if you have also less salivation, you have less natural production of bicarbonate through salivation. And then after decrease of feed intake, and cow spend more time standing and less bedding. So all these physiological and behavior consequences have, of course, consequences in terms of production and economical. So when THI increase, animal performance decrease. When I speak about performance, this is milk production, but also reproduction performances. And of course, this is impact on the cost and the loss of money. So next, please. First, if we look to reproduction performance, so there is a publication by Morton, and he found a close relationship between body temperature and fertilization rate. So each increase of 0.5 degrees Celsius of rectal temperature is 13% of loss or in fertilization rate. So it's a very close relationship. And if we look on the bottom right, you have another way to see that. This, you have the THI and the conception rate. So you see that with a quite an average low THI, 72, you have already a big drop in consumption rate. So this is very important. And on the top of the picture, this is the critical period around artificial insemination. So the really critical period is 5 weeks before insemination to 1 week after insemination. So first, consequence on fertility. Then, next slide, you have consequence on intake and, of course, production. So this is a nice experimentation. They put cows in environmental chamber and go from thermoneutrality, which is a THI of 64. They go up to a THI of 73, which is not a very severe THI, but a moderate. And you see that only after 9 days, so very quickly, you have a drop in intake. So this is the orange curve. So the drop of intake is from 22 to 15, so 7 kilograms less intake, and a drop in the milk production from 32.5 to 20, so 12 kilograms less of milk production. So huge drop. And also, if we look, the drop in the intake cannot explain alone the drop of milk production. And in fact, the heat stress, you have a reduction of intake, but also a reduction of feed efficiency. This can be due also to the blood stream, which go to the skin and less from the gut. So we saw that there is a lot of different consequences on the body, behavioral, physiological. So to have an effective product to help the animal to fight, we have to use a combination of different ingredients to try to have an action on this different topic. So if we start first, we have a blend of different spices. Their main function is to have an activity on the control of the body temperature of the animal. Then we have also other plant extract, mainly green tea of fenugreek. These plants are well known to have an activity in the prevention of oxidative stress, and heat stress promote an oxidative stress. Sorry. We saw previously that there is a loss of bicarbonate, so a risk of acidosis. So we use a buffer in the product like sodium bicarbonate and potassium carbonate. This raw material also provide electrolytes. So this is the fourth family of product we use to replenish the loss of potassium and sodium by sweating by adding this product into the product. Next. So we can start to have a focus. I told you that there is a blend of 4 different spices. And if we look, there is a thermosensitive receptor on the body, mainly on the skin, but a lot of also all along the digestive tract. And these receptors are involved in to maintain the body temperature. And they are named as a transient receptor potential. Some of them on the left are involved for cool, and on the right of the slide, other are involved when there is heat. And everyone know that if you eat mint, you have a sensation of previous, please. You have a sensation of cold, and when you eat spice, you have a sensation of heat. And you see that the most well-known is chili pepper, but there is not only chili pepper. Oregon can be used also. Next. And how these act. So when the spice stimulate this TRPV1 receptor, there is a signal to the brain, and then this activate the cooling system of the body. And first by vasodilatation, so this increase the bloodstream throughout the animal and also under the skin. So if you have more blood under the skin, you have less, you have more heat who is going outside of the animal. There is also other secondary benefits. They have an antioxidant effect. They are also involved in the gut health, like preventing leaky gut. Capsaicin is also help sweating of the animal. So all this contribute to cool the body temperature. Next. But I told you that there is a lot of different consequences of heat stress. So we have to target all these consequences. First, need to increase the appetite and the feed consumption. So this is done by the spices, fenugreek. There is also flavor in the product. You have to increase value because there is a decrease of feed efficiency, and the spice blend stimulate the production of pancreatic enzyme that will help the digestion of the total diet. To promote milk yield, again, the action of the spice blend, but fenugreek has a specific action to stimulate milk production. To try to help to compensate the loss of bicarbonate, we have also buffer in the product, but with the stimulation of the salivation, you have also the stimulation of self-production of bicarbonate. Then for hydration, we use calcium carbonate and bicarbonate and also salt. And all this contribute to decrease the body temperature and reduce oxidative stress and improve the welfare of the animal. So to illustrate this animal welfare, this is an example of an experimentation made in an experimental station. So in blue, this is the control group. In orange, this is the Thermoplus group. So first focus on the left side of the slide. And there is a biopsy in the fat tissue, and they look for the enzyme involved in the reduction of the oxidative stress. So there is 3 different enzymes, all which play a role on oxidative stress prevention. And you see that there is an increase in the abundance of this enzyme in a great proportion for the 3 enzymes. So there is a better cellular protection. And on the left side, there is measurement of the animal comfort. First, this is the time spent by the animal laying. This is very, very important because, as you know, the synthesis of milk is more important when the animal are bedding. So if you are the animals spend more time bedding, this means that they produce more milk. And with this measurement, globally, the cow spent half an hour more laying than the control group. Other parameter, there is sensor inside the vagina, and there is the measurement of the body temperature. And they look for the percentage of the time per day spent with a high temperature. High temperature is 69 degrees. And you see that there is a very severe heat stress because the cows spend nearly 80% of their time with a critical body temperature. And with Thermoplus, we go nearly to 70, mean more than 9% of reduction of the time with a critical temperature. And if you remember what I told you a few minutes ago, the consequences with body temperature and reproduction fertility, so you see that you have a better risk, you reduce the risk of low fertility with Thermoplus. Next. This is a global synthesis of different trials. So the average of all these trials is 1.84 kilogram more milk per day. And there is a range of response from 0.6 to up to 3 kilogram of milk. Because this experiment was made in different countries with different heat stress, sometimes middle heat stress, sometimes very high, sometimes only heat, sometimes heat plus humidity. So we have various response, but always a good response with Thermoplus. Next. And this trial is interesting to show the impact of the product and also the combination of feed management and building management. So this was made in Turkey in a big mill company which produces his own feed, 40,000 tons per month, and with his own farm, more than 35,000 cows, and also they sell feed to external farm. So in one building, they use 120 cows that they divide in 2 groups, taking into account the days in milk, lactation number, and milk production. And this was exactly the same diet based on corn silage and alfalfa. The only difference was Thermoplus in the test group. And if you see the picture, you see that the building was equipped with cooling system, with sprinkler and fans. And there was measurement of the airspeed. The average one was 22, which is a good target, but with quite big difference in different part of the building. So next, when we see the result, first in green on the left, you have the theoretical milk production that they should produce with the diet. So 35.4 kilograms of milk per day. And in red, this is the reality, what they produce for the control group, 31.3. So it means that the control group produce less 4.1 liters than they should produce if there is no heat stress at all. And if we compare this to the gray and the yellow bar, this is the prediction of milk production with the THI. The 27.2, this is what they should produce with the THI, which is quite severe. This is written on the top of the slide, 81, so it's a high heat stress. But as I told you, there was sprinkler and fan in the building. So this helped to reduce, and we can use what we call the corrected THI by the airspeed. You can see that in Thermotool application if you want it. And if we use this corrected THI, in fact, we see that the real production is very close to the prediction production. And the blue 33.9, this is the group with Thermoplus. So in fact, the effect of Thermoplus is 2.6 liter more. So we see that there is an additional effect of building management, feeding management, and we recover a lot of the losses due to heat stress. So next. To conclude, so the target of the product is to reduce heat stress, of course, and to have a better comfort of the animal, to improve performance, but not only in milk, but also reproductive performance. And we use a global product based on natural solution, mineral and plant, which combine cell protection, stimulation of feed intake. We use also buffers to reduce acidosis risk, and we have a direct effect on the body temperature of the animal to help them to dissipate excess of body heat. So next. Yes, okay, so I let the place to Nikita to show you some example of the use of the product.
Nikita, your microphone is...
C'est bon?
Yes, didn't have sound, yes. And one more point, how to share this red thing, the pointer. Anyway, okay, let's go without it. So I would like to present myself. My name is Nikita Kulikov. I'm from Russia. our company Agroctima is the distributor of CCPA already since 2016. So we have already 9 years of experience of using the products of CCPA. And the colleagues of CCPA has asked me to present our experience we had, to share our experience. And this is very interesting for me as well. So hopefully this experience will be interesting for you, also, especially taking in consideration our specific climate conditions. So you would say, oh, Russia is a cold country; it's very cold all the time. Yes and no. Yes, we have cold conditions. First of all, it's the biggest country in the world, and you see on this map the northern parts. This is a summer situation. Yeah, in winter everywhere is cold, so there is no heat stress, of course. But in summer, yes, there is a heat stress, and quite a big one. And I show you here. This is more or less the THI situation all over the country. On the northern part, and where the green color is, we don't have any cows, so we don't have any people as well. It's too cold. And also on the east west, on the east north side, there is no people. On the east side, there is almost no people, as mostly it's concentrated on the western part and southern part of Siberia. So I've shown you this southwest Siberia. So looking, if you see this place where St. Petersburg is situated, it's next to Finland, next to Norway. Even there, in summer, we have some heat stress already beginning. Especially this area is very humid, and we have high humidity, and this makes the heat stress much worse. Coming more down, more south, Moscow is more or less average, moderate, let's say, continental climate with the bit warmer climate, but it's nothing to do to compare if you see the southern part, which is next to the Black and Caspian Sea. This is already close to Azerbaijan, to Georgia, to Turkey. And there is the heat stress is huge. We can reach out up to 40 degrees, something like you have in the Gulf region. And the southwest Siberia, it's quite cold. Summer begins um, quite fast. And the humidity plays a big role here, as Jean has presented you the THI. We have the situation in Moscow that we have 100 days of temperature, of high temperature only. And while in Alain area, this is the area which I was told is we have the biggest part of the cows, you have a much longer periods, 270 days of heat stress. And this is allows us to, it's like experimental station. We can very well compare the non-hot period and very hot period and compare the production levels at these stages. So as I said, 100 days only and 270 days. And I've marked 20 degrees as the benchmark for heat stress. And you can see that normally we're not so much above like you have it in your area. But looking to the humidity now, we have a humidity is much higher in Moscow. It's about 80-90 degrees percent, I mean, while you have a lower, it's about 40 and something percent. So what makes us very anyway close, if we're coming to the THI table, on the left side, you see I have marked Moscow and Alain. And looking to the average level of THI, we have a 75 THI level, and you have about 80. That's the minimum, but maybe you have even more. Just I wanted to say that despite of northern situation of Moscow, of the region, and basically we have heat stress because of the humidity and because of the short periods. But as we have these periods, we can easily compare. We know what is 9 months without heat stress and 3 months with heat stress. So we can compare the production over there. We don't need to make a control group, so we know what is happening. And looking to our experience, we can see that about if there is a production of 36 liters in an average, we can see that during the heat stress, our production drops up to, I don't know, this is about 4 liters. It can go even lower if the heat stress is higher, but I would say average, it drops to 2, 3, 4 liters. And it's a big serious problem. And then what, according to our experience as well, there is a recovery period of 60 to 80 days. So a recovery period because we have some cows, for example, even in the dry period, when they have dry cows, there is a problem of recovery, and they suffer from heat stress. It's a point for a separate presentation. We can see that the cows in the heat stress are very in the dry cows. Once they're affected by heat stress in the dry period, they suffer from the further milk production in the next periods, and this is a much serious one. But once we're using Thermoplus during this period, and we started from the beginning, let's say from May, June, when the heat stress begin, we by using it all the time during 100 days, we are able to keep the production level on the higher level. This is exactly what Jean have shown to you. We have a situation that we are able to lose not 4 liters, but only a couple of liters in average, not 5, but 2 or 3. But basically, this is still a big difference that we save a lot of milk. Of course, we are not able to keep it on the same level because the heat stress affects very seriously the animals. But we can keep back a higher level, and it helps us to recover faster. So like this, we have a much much more linear average production. But then coming back to the economy, then we can say that of course the Thermoplus costs something. This is a feed additive that costs money. And now coming back to the investment and to return investment. Yes, the heat stress period in Russia, starting with this region, is it's just 100 days. But during this period, the cows can lose from 200 to 600 liters, or if going to more southern regions, it's even more. It can go up to 800 liters during the season. So this is a loss of the revenue that is lost per cow is from 100 to $300 per cow. But the investment in the Thermoplus during all the period, if you're using it non-stop during 100 days, it's not so huge. It's just $18 per cow per season. So the amount of milk which is recovered with Thermoplus is from 100 to 300, and so it's much lower investment. So the recovered revenue is $51 to $150 per cow. So the return on investments is from 3 to 1 to 8 to 1. But if coming to the Gulf countries, we have much longer period, 270 days, and I would say there is a recovery period after that. So the milk in average that you would lose during this period, it's difficult to evaluate. I just think it's from 500 till 1,500 liters, but of course you're using a lot of cooling systems, shadows, and different ventilators and other conditions which helps to reduce the heat stress, especially ventilation with the cooling is very helpful. So I would say the average loss that you can say it's about 1,000 liters during the season. Anyway, can be lost because of that. The investment, but anyway, thanks to Thermoplus, you can recover about 500, 600 liters in average, maybe going up to 800 liters during the season, with a small investment of just $50 per cow per season. So it can give you recovered revenue about 500, 600 US dollars per season, which is a huge return on investment, up to starting from 4 to 1 and coming back to even 10 to 1. Now 13 to 1, of course, is a lot of that, because you don't keep the cows under the sun, without shadows, without cooling systems. That's the situation. But just in 2 words, you have a very low investment and very big benefit. So you don't at your situation, I would not hesitate to use these products on the farms because it's a proven efficiency. And by the way, according to my knowledge, this is an number one top selling product in Turkey. This is Thermoplus is a bestseller product against heat stress in Turkey and in Israel. And Israel has checked everything, and there is a thanks to this trial that Jean has shown you. The society which is very close to Israel. There's not so many people involved, and they exchange opinions. And this is also seen to be the best seller and the most efficient product in the Israeli market. And so this is really working there because of the climate. Yeah, coming back to our experience with Turboviv. Well, we sell Turboviv under the name Vivactiv in Russia, so just not to have any confusion for you, this is Turboviv. Another version, Amiviv, but anyway, Vivactiv is very, I would call it Vivactiv to be in common. I would like to show you the strategy. So I was asked to show the strategy, how we apply the product and how we help our customers. So I just took two examples now just to show the practical usage of Vivactiv in the ratios. First, I took an example with a very bad ration, with a bad protein. So we have looking to the quality, we have normal starch, we have more or less good fiber and good protein, so which corresponds to the standards, and but metabolic energy is not so good. Yeah. But because of the bad quality of protein sources and bad quality of carbohydrate sources, we see that it's not so efficient, unfortunately. And inside we have corn silage, alpha silage, and we have sunflower meal, and all these products have big degradation in rumen, and we don't have a good usage of the rumen. So we just added on the right side, you will see a product with Vivactiv, and without on the left without Vivactiv. So without any optimization in this example, by just adding Vivactiv, we are converting the protein into be more efficient. And with this example, we can increase the milk production from 23 liters to 26 liters by making the protein more efficient. So how it works? Basically, on the left side again, without Vivactiv, with Vivactiv on the right, we can see on the top that there is digested bypass protein, which is PDIA. We increase it from 28 to 35 grams per kilo of dry matter. And it makes our fast proteins to be a little bit slower. We increase the efficiency of digested protein PDIE on the bottom line from 80 to 88. So this is by 10%. And we are able to reduce the ruminal acidosis just with the product from 5 hours to 4 hours. This is parameter, maybe you know how it's used. So basically this product make us more efficient, and just explaining you what is happening inside the cows. So you can see on the left side without Vivactiv, the cow, and on the right side, the cow is consuming the same amount of protein. But in the first case, we have an efficiency of less than 22% of the protein consumed goes into the udder. It's 751 grams from the 3.5 kilos goes inside, just 22%. Yeah, and we have quite a high level of urea content for this production, because for this production it's quite a high level. It's about 360 milligram of urea content in the milk. So a lot of losses and not used well. And PDIA, so this is just to remind you, the digested ruminal transit protein, which goes bypass protein, is just 602 grams from the total amount. This is quite a very low amount. With Vivactiv on the right side, we can see that we could increase the efficiency of protein almost by 25%. So from the same amount of protein coming into the cow, we have 100 gram of protein which goes to the udder, and we have a decreased level of urea in the milk, which just shows the efficiency of the protein. And this explains the increase of the 3 liters per cow per day. And the PDAA, though the digested bypass protein, is increased from 600 grams to 750 grams, so by 25%. So basically, we increase the efficiency of our protein, which was wasted a lot, by 25%. That makes the product working. Yeah, but this is just a bad example without any optimization. Just coming back, how do we work, and the way this is exactly the same strategy that CCPA is using in Europe and globally. And this is a feed optimization. So we just go to customers and we see the farms, we analyze the ratios, we try to improve the efficiency. Now, this is an example of the ratio which is well balanced, and we work with them. This is the cows producing about 12,400 liters per year, and with average production in this group of first 100 days of lactation, it's a production of 48 liters per cow per day. It has maybe for you it will be maybe some exotic raw materials with like corn silage, maybe for you some clover silage. Then we have a silage made of wheat, from peas and barley. Yeah, so we just collected not for the beans, not for the cereals, but we collected with the green mass, and we are making silage of it. It's a source of protein and starch at the same time. Then we have here some corn, very good feed, balanced with soybean meal inside, and rapeseed meal and sunflower meal. Lean expeller we have, it's flax in English, and minerals, etc. So basically, this is a formula which allows. We took this customer when they were producing about 8,000 liters per year. Now it's about more than 12,000, and we are constantly and all the time working with them. But this is a result of several years of improvement, because we step by step increasing every year by 500, 600, by 700 liters per year, and like this during several years we could reach this amount. So this is the way we work, and this is exactly how CCP has shown us, and we continue this strategy. It is the only good strategy. And here we can see that the balance, the ratio is balanced. We see all of all the things is in the green. We don't have any acidosis here. We have quite an efficient PDEI, and we have balanced fast protein, fast carbohydrates, and yeah, everything is green. Fiber is 16, is just on the lower level, but anyway, it allows us to show the very efficient usage of all the components. And coming back to this cow, we call this picture destiny of protein. So the cow consuming more than 5 kilos of crude protein per day, but the efficiency, it's even more than in the first case, but we have a 31% of efficiency. So we have 1,629 grams of protein coming into the udder. Yes, we have a higher urea content, it's about 400. It's unfortunately high, but of course we have a rule that the more you produce milk, the higher urea content you have in the milk, because you have huge amounts of protein going not only by pass but also used in the rumen. So anyway, we have it here. We can see on the right side that for mineral and trace elements, everything is in perfect conditions. It's as well with the CCPA premixes going in it, and we have the if you remember this first case, we have 600 of digested bypass protein. Now it's 3 times higher, 1,800 grams per cow per day. Digested non-degraded protein is very high. Yeah, that was the examples of what we do. So looking forward. Welcome to Russia. We visit farms, we make technical trainings. We invite you to join Zoom and video presentations. Yeah, it's all in Russian, but we can anyway do something together. We do seminars in some key regions. Maybe you can come and share your experience as well. We do seminars in Moscow and on the seaside. Yeah, okay, that's about all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Nikita, for this presentation. Thank you all, Nasira, Jean, Romain. Now we can open a session of Q&A if the attendees have any questions. We already have one question from Dr. Sadiq. He's asking about the trials that we showed, that all of them are made in Europe, which has, or majority of them is made in Europe, which has a different climate and temperatures than the Middle East. He's asking if we have any trials in the Middle East showing the results.
For thermo, you speak, Richard?
Thermoplus is
Yes.
one of the products.
As far as I know, we don't conduct trial in the Middle East. We have a trial in Mexico. So in Mexico, we have also quite a hot temperature above 30 degrees, 35 degrees Celsius with low humidity, which is similar to your area. And we have also a study made in Israel, which was published in a journal of dairy science. So this is not really Middle East, but close to.
Actually, it is. Thank you, Jean. We have another question about the vaginal sensors that were mentioned in the trial, like what type of sensors these were.
Yes, I saw the question and I have a look to the publication, but they don't specify the material, so I don't have the answer. Maybe I can I can ask to them to see, but I can give in the conversation the um, um, address and the reference of the bibliography for the publication. But it was not written what type of sensor used to measure the temperature in the vagina.
Okay, we have another question regarding the application of the product. Is it only seasonal or all year round?
Good question. It depends on your area and the climate. The recommendation is to start to use the product before you enter in the hot season. So this means that in Western Europe, it's only 2 months per year, and in different area, it's 8 months, 10 months, or all over the year. In Gulf area, maybe if we look of the curve that Nikita show us, you have to use the product 9 to 10 months per year, in fact, nearly all the year. For example, we have customer in Vietnam. In Vietnam, it's quite hot and warm all the season, and they use the product all the year.
All right.
But do not use the product only when it's very critical, because you can be quite disappointed. You have to use the product to help the animal to stay in a comfortable area. And we made some study, and Nikita know this, and even if you have no heat stress, the product is still profitable because you have an increase in intake, buffer, so there is no risk of losing money, and it's better to use it in prevention. So my recommendation is to use it at least in Gulf area 10 months per year. Yes.
Okay. One comment is that here we have temperatures greater than 90%. Sorry, humidity, like, yeah, high humidity of like more than 90%, and temperatures of 46 and above during the summer season. What would be your comment on that?
Can I comment? Because
Sure.
just on the south of Russia, next to Caucasus, we have a quite similar situation. Yeah, it's in the mountains, and not the mountains, but below the mountains. Also, humidity cannot go away. We have 90% degrees, not 46, but maybe 41, 42. Yeah, but a little bit lower. And we have here the cows of Jersey cows, which have a lot of fat content in the milk, as you know, and we have their customers using Thermoplus already 5 years. Every year, he's not able to live without it. Yes, the periods are just about maybe 5 months, especially the 3 months are the most rude for them. But they noticed that before that they started to use Thermoplus, they were losing up to 6 liters of 6 to 7 liters per cow per day, and this is really a lot because of the fat content. It's 4.8, if I'm not mistaken, percent. The fat content of the milk is very high because it's used for cheese, etc. And they were struggling a lot, and so they have started to use it. And now they're losing maybe 2 liters only, and they're very happy because they're able to save 4 liters. And these customers is even when they are present on the seminars, the customer stands up and start to tell these stories already many times, and this is something we did. But coming back to the previous question of what Jean said as well, if you have a situation and the cows are already under heat stress and they have already lost 6 liters and they're struggling, they are breathing like dogs, opening mouth, they're just not eating, not ruminating, etc. And now you are coming with a Thermoplus, yes, you will be disappointed. It will not help. Maybe just partially, maybe 1 liter, but we don't know if it's coming from the product or just for the climate change back. So we have regular situations like that we started to use in the middle. They see, and if this customer is okay, he for the next year he thinks again, and he starts to use from the next season already before the heat of before of the stress. The heat stress begins, and they start to use it all the time. Now they see the old results. This is the practical situation. Maybe you have other examples, Jean. You have in so many countries humidity, like in Asia.
And yes, and to complete the answer of Nikita, maybe your question is also if we have very hard condition with hot temperature, high humidity, we can increase the distribution of the product. So this is not our recommendation. The product is based on plant extract, and there is no linear dose response. So you use the dosage recommendation. You can increase maybe by 20, 30%, but no double dosage if you have high risk. So keep the right dosage, but use it all the time.
All right. I have a question for Romain. That here in the UAE, there's a 2030 vision to reducing methane emissions by 30%. Do you think that Turboviv can add value in this strategy?
Sorry, what is the strategy?
Like here there's a plan in the UAE to reduce methane emissions. right,
Okay.
in the environment. So does using Turboviv in cattle help? Like, does it contribute? Does it add value to this?
Yeah, as I told you, we notice in different trials, in fact, decrease in methane emission. As I told you as well, we didn't create this product for this effect at first, so it will help you. We measure 6-7% decrease in methane emission, but one more time, product is made to increase feed efficiency, not only to reduce methane. And we are currently working on a specific product to have a higher effect on methane emission. My personal point of view is we cannot have product doing everything at the same time. If you want to increase feed efficiency and decrease little bit methane emission, Turboviv is perfect. If it's only product working on a methane emission and you don't want to change a lot feed efficiency, we need something specific.
Okay,
Mm.
all right. Regarding there's a question regarding the application of Turboviv in the feed, because we understood that there are two types of applications, the on top, right? And I guess it's for the increase of milk production. Otherwise, we modify the matrix to reduce the cost. Can you walk us through this, please, a little bit?
Yes, I can start, and maybe Nikita could also add his experience on that. Yes, we have two different possibilities. Um, calculation, in fact, is quite simple. If you manage to produce more milk, regarding margin over feed cost, it will be more interesting in many countries right now because milk prices are very high right now. But there is something different. If you want to save money to optimize the diet, it will work in 100% of the case. Nearly. You could reduce amount of protein. If you have enough protein in the diet at the start, you could save some protein and you will reduce feed cost. So this is the first thing. I mean, also, we have to check if the amount of protein is higher enough. If at the start you don't have enough protein, enough ruminal protein in your diet, of course, problem is not to reduce cost. Problem is to balance the diet first. So Turboviv will help to balance the diet, but we have to balance the diet first. Now, if you want to increase milk production, so to add Turboviv on top of the TMR of the diet, it's working. It's working very well, but same problem. If you have something missing in the diet, if you have a disbalanced diet, if you put Turboviv on top of it, it will not solve all the problem. If you have high stress, if you have acidosis, if you don't have enough digestible fiber, if you don't have enough energy, sometimes it's a big problem having enough energy. Putting Turboviv on top will not solve all the situation, and it's not magical product. So just be sure you have a well-balanced diet first. This is always the same. Basic recommendation first, and then we can improve. But it's very important before using the product, exactly like Nikita showed us, to calculate the diet, to put on the software, to balance it with the good nutrients, and then we can use Turboviv to improve feed efficiency and improve milk production and profitability.
Mm.
All right. Another question. Does Turboviv have an effect on the growth rate of heifers?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, we use that also for heifers. It's a little bit more difficult to measure the impact, but we did that as well. And most of the time we had good results, mainly because of quantity of protein. And for heifers, it's the same. If you want good morphology of heifers, we know that we need a high level of protein, mainly for the younger one. And same for dairy cows. If you increase protein too much, you can have disbalance and decrease of protein efficiency. And in that case, Turboviv will help to have a will help you to increase performance of heifers. It will also help you to save money regarding the concentrate for heifers. And in Europe, we use a lot, not only in Europe, in Vietnam also. For example, we use a lot to produce concentrate for heifers. Yeah.
All right. Another question. During heat stress, there's a leaky gut phenomena. Does Turboviv help through TRP, as you mentioned, to improve intestinal absorption?
First topic of Turboviv is not to work only on that. If we wanted to know exactly if it will help on the leaky gut syndrome, we would have to measure some inflammatory marker. We didn't do that, but we know that blend of spices is helping one part regarding integrity and in other part regarding digestibility of nutrient. So for that, it will help. Where we saw a very good effect on Turboviv, it's mainly to reduce the amount of ruminal protein because during heat stress, most of the time you have a decrease in milk production. So in a lot of diets, you have too much ruminal protein, and this protein will be released in ammonia, and ammonia is pro-inflammatory molecule. So with Turboviv, you reduce little bit rapid protein. So at the end, you will save energy from this inflammation. And during heat stress, energy is a key because all the carbs are locking energy. So in that way, Turboviv is helping, but not if we focus only on the leaky gut. But it's a very interesting subject. We can speak during many hours about leaky gut, not only for its stress, but it's yes, very, very important syndrome and also for peripartum issues.
Right.
Can I add some comment?
Yes,
For
sure.
this
Please go
question,
ahead.
how to use Turboviv on top, down speculation on, or how to say, by optimizing. So we see this as during time scale, it can vary very much because once we start with a new customer, it's very probable that you can just add it on top just to see the product results. So there is the customers should just begin to trust to this product. Anyway, but it will not help all the problems. Now, once the customer believes to Turboviv that it works, that it makes the feeding more efficient, now we can consider this product as to be one of the important component, like soybean meal, like corn, etc. And now from now on, we can continue by optimizing because the situation always changes. The prices for the raw materials vary. It can be some lack of raw materials. There can be different quality of the initial raw materials. So we work by many years, and so all the years, of course, we don't just put it on top. As we are introduced and we go inside and inside the formula, we are working very much as a outsource service company who is helping the farmers to optimize. That's the situation. So
Okay, we have another question. That now in Pakistan, the THI level is touches 90 degrees in the summer months. So the consumption drops too much. If CCPA or improve, does using those products, does it improve or help improving the consumption rates, whether Turboviv or Thermoplus?
So for Thermoplus, even with very high THI, I will recommend not to go up to 50% more dosage than the recommendation. So it means that I think the product is 40 grams per day. So don't go up to 60 grams per day. If you go above, you will not have additional effect, and of course it will be more expensive. And give the product all the time. For Turboviv, I let Romain explain, but I think it's the same. There is no link with the ITHI and the
Sorry, but, question was about conception rate.
Yes.
conception rate.
Conception rate.
So
You can start the answer about conception. I will continue after you.
Sorry. Yes, of course, there is a big drop in conception rate. So we have some experimentation with Thermoplus and semen of bulls, but conception rate with Thermoplus for dairy cow, we don't have feedback because it means that we have to follow a farm for several years, and so we don't have this. We have an experiment in Mexico where they give Thermoplus before calving. They start to give the product 3 weeks before calving and 3 months after calving, and they look for the reproductive performance of the cow, percentage of cow pregnant, and the percentage of number of insemination for pregnant cow. And they have better figures for Thermoplus group, higher fertility. If I remember, the THI was around 80, not 90, but it was around 80.
Yes, fertility rate was 50% without. I just checked on the trial. Fertility
Okay.
rate was 50% in the control, and it rise up to 73% with Thermoplus. And most of the time we say that the drop of milk because of its stress, 50% is linked with a decrease of dry matter intake, and 50% is linked with decrease of energy efficiency, mainly due to leaky gut and to inflammation. And we know that inflammation is the worst thing for fertility. So that's why Thermoplus is working very well on that topic. In that trial in Mexico, it's the only one where we measure that. In that trial, we had very good results, and it's always difficult to predict percentage of increase of fertility. But if you see 20%, 20 point more, I will not be very surprised. Mainly because of that, because we save energy. And Richard asked about Thermoplus. We never measure that with Thermoplus. I think for fertility, main issues will be disbalanced protein in the diet. If you have too much rapid protein, Turboviv will help, of course, because same excess of rapid protein is very negative impact on fertility. But it's not the main target of Turboviv, not at all. If your diet is well balanced, Turboviv will not help you to increase fertility.
Romain, what's the effect of Turboviv on fattening animals?
In fattening animals, we have different products in Vivactive range, and one of them is more specific to fattening. Name is Hamiviv because it's used for high level of starch, low fiber, and very high risk of acidosis. So most of the time, but not always, we use another product. In some specific diet with high level of slow starch, mainly corn, we use also Turboviv, for example, in some part of Italy, in some part of Spain also. And the main effect is to increase quantity of intestinal protein. I mean, a little bit what I told you, we increase efficiency of amylase, so we increase the digestibility of starch. In some trial in Italy, we decrease quantity of starch in feces from 18% to 10% by using Turboviv. So it's mainly because of that. If you have acidosis because you use a huge quantity of rapid starch from wheat, from barley, depending on the country. But if you have huge amount of acidosis, we have Amiviv product which act specifically to modulate the degradation of starch in the rumen and optimize fattening results.
Okay. We have a question regarding high yield cows, like above 43 liters of milk per day. What's your experience? What's the impact of Turboviv on those cows?
Yeah, main problem with these cows, it's a little bit what I show you at the start. The limiting factor, one limiting factor is energy, and you know that it's very difficult even for small ruminant to reach the needs. And other one is a metabolic protein. So of course, Turboviv by creating more ruminal protein and by creating more bypass protein will help you to reach a higher level of metabolizable protein so you can cover more milk. It depends on the country, it depends on the system, but most of the time we want to go above or to reach 3 kg of metabolizable protein, for example, for a TMR to produce more than 40 liter of milk. To reach this level without increasing too much protein, you need to reduce the degradability. So you have different possibility. You can use bypass protein, but bypass protein is more costly than Turboviv. And most of the time, the protein total digestibility will decrease also because of the eating process. You can also bring some amino acid, but Turboviv, by protecting protein, will also bring you some amino acid because you have more protein in the gut. So I would say it's even more efficient, and you can see more interest to use Turboviv when you are producing more milk. To produce 20 kg, it's kind of easy to increase little bit protein or to change quality, like Nikita showed us. If you just improve little bit quality, it's easy to reach more than 20 kg. If you are already producing 43, 44, it starts to be tricky to be able to have enough metabolizable protein. And it's even more interesting to use Turboviv, yes.
And what I can add from my side for on the top level, when you have a higher increase, you have to think, yes, just developing the idea of Romain is that, but we need to come up with the new raw materials, because if you go that much high, it's not enough just to use soybean meal, because it's also limited in the bypass, and also the rumen is limited with the ruminal protein because it's limited in the size. So what we face, we add like corn gluten, we add blood meal, meat and bone meal, such high bypass products. Or we have to use treated by temperature and like extracted soybean meal, for example, or other meals. And the Turboviv here is integral part of everything, but it will be not enough. It's the products which I mentioned, the bypass products, are going together, and all of them together help to protect the protein on the high level. But we shouldn't avoid any other raw materials and searching for bypass sources. And if somebody's used to produce like 9 or 10,000 with soybean meal, and he wants to go up more and just keeping only the soybean meal, it's not enough. You just need to go to something really protected. I don't know if you are allowed to use products of animal origin, but we use it in some of the regions, not in all regions of Russia.
Yes, in Europe, for us, it's forbidden to use blood meal, but a lot of countries use, and you're totally right, Nikita. As if you want to produce a lot of milk, you have to use different kind of product to bring bypass and to bring amino acid. The best farmer we work with in Europe, without blood meal, three of them managed to produce more than 50 kg average. Not only with Turboviv, of course.
Right. We have another question. What role do antioxidants like vitamin E and selenium play in reproductive health and rumen efficiency during heat stress in late pregnant cows?
So you have an oxidative stress when you have heat stress. So it's important to improve antioxidant protection. So you can improve, of course, vitamin E and selenium recommendation. We have rationing software. The name is Chorus, and we have specific recommendation of feeding during heat stress. And for example, this kind of parameter are modified with an improvement of the concentration of vitamin E and selenium during heat stress. Of course, this is not only the only change. There is also change in the energy concentration and so on. And we are using in combination with, I would say, this traditional antioxidant product, some plant extract. So I speak about fenugreek. Fenugreek has an effect antioxidative protection. Grape is very important also. And the spice blend also have an effect on antioxidative and also inflammation protection. So all these contribute to improve the defense of the animal against oxidative stress.
But like, do we have any specific effect in late pregnant cows?
Maybe just to add few things, selenium will be used to create a glutathione peroxidase, which is a very effective antioxidant. How can I say,
enzyme.
process in a body, and so this is a specific action of selenium, one of its action. Regarding vitamin E, it's also very effective, but we have two problems with vitamin E. First one is the cost, and second one, we know that high dosage of vitamin E could create inflammation and oxidative stress.
Yes.
Because vitamin E is necessary for the cow, mainly in some part of the life of the cow. One of this part is around its peripartum, it's before calving. But we know that if we increase too much, we could have issues. And product antioxidant, natural plant extract antioxidant, have a synergetic effect with the vitamin E. So you can save some vitamin E and you will have a better efficiency. And we start to study that, not only us, they start in the US, but some NRC recommendation to increase, to multiply by 3 the level of vitamin E for cow during close-up. A lot of people now notice that not working that well. And one of the possible explanation is when you put too much vitamin E, you can have negative effect also. So it's better to mix, to combine with polyphenol from tea, for example.
Okay, which are substances that you have in the products, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And it's the same, exactly same. Heat stress is a huge oxidative factor. And the other natural oxidative factor is peripartum, because cow metabolism will increase a lot in a few amount of time. So it will produce a huge oxidative reaction because of respiration of the cells of the cow. So same problem for peripartum.
All right. Well, I guess we don't have any more questions from our attendees. We have reached the end of this session. On behalf of Medlin and CCPA, I want to sincerely thank you for your attendance, your engagement with us, and your thoughtful questions. We will be following up with the recording, additional material on the products, and a feedback form, if you would be so kind to give us your feedback. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you at our next technical event.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye. You have a nice day, everybody.